Welcome to Bits of an Artist's Life. This is Sandy Hester. In this channel, you get bits of my life as an artist, and today's bit is I finished the sketchbook yesterday, so I thought, let's do a little tour. I don't know why I just said it like that, but this is an art creation sketchbook, and it ranges back to, I was looking at the very first sketch I did in here, and it was April 2022. So I love sketchbooks that range like multiple years because you get to see my progress. And maybe what we'll do is do this one backwards. That could be good. We'll do this one backwards. Hopefully I'll remember by the time I turn the camera overhead, but let's do that. The reason some of my sketchbooks range such a long amount of time is because I always have multiple sketchbooks on the go. Maybe I'll take two with me out while I'm sketching. Maybe I'm working here in the studio and I'm working on one and sitting it off to the side to dry, working in another. Sometimes I feel like really nice paper. Sometimes I feel like smaller sketchbooks, bigger, I need the range. So, and then sometimes I just get bored working in sketchbooks and don't work in sketchbooks at all for like a whole year. So, let's get into this baby. It's, I don't know why I sing, but there we go. I don't feel like I've sang in a while, so maybe y'all are needing a song. Okay, let's just go do this right now. Okay, yep. Hello. Welcome. If you're new, welcome. Oh, if you're new, or even if you're old, I never say this, but would you subscribe? Would you also ring that little bell thing? I don't know why I just did the little bell dance, but that. So you'll get notified and you'll be a subscriber and you'll be part of the Bits of an Artist's Life family. So, okay, let's go do this right now. Hello, welcome again for the third time. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's do this. I decided to go eat breakfast before I filmed, so then I made myself a note to do this backwards. So, grab myself a cup of tea. You may hear some loud meowing because for some reason our cat's like coming in and doing a lot of meowing. I don't know why, and it's like really loud. So let's just all ignore it. Let's go through the sketchbook. Like I said, it started in April 2022, or it didn't start. It's when I started it, and I just finished the last page yesterday. So the front and back pages are always reserved for color swatching and things like that. You can see here I've swatched a bunch of my Holbein gouache, probably trying to decide on some colors, or maybe I was working out a palette to take out. More pages for swatching. I've left these last two pages because I'm going to do some swatching for some things for the trip that I'm about to go on. The last couple pages here, I've been doing some work on like composition and taking some of the compositional layouts and just doing like abstract. I actually really love this. If this was on a really big canvas, I would put this over my fireplace. Here is another one. What I've been doing is just kind of ending the day, working on some of these, or starting the day. And the next few sketches, you'll see of birds and stuff, I've been doing the same, just like end of the day, I'm tired. These two I did with my watercolor gouache palettes, which you can, I've got videos, recent videos on those, and also using my Neocolor 1s and 2s. The 2s are water soluble, the 1s are not. The number 1s are not. I use the same things here on this. Again, this is a compositional, just kind of thinking about the compositions that are out there that are kind of the most common ones. And I'm doing this in prep for my Italy trip because I just want to really focus on value and composition before I go. This is kind of weird. When I was working this way, it was pressing. I must have not let this dry, but this was just a simple face that I gave up on. It was at the end of the day, and I needed to go work on dinner. So these birds, I've just been using my gouache palette, just the gouache. Let's see, this, okay, so recently I've talked about, oh, that's interesting. I had like a chunk fall off. I've been talking about two palettes that I've prepared for my Italy trip. And you can see those videos, they're pretty recent. One was a fully just plain watercolor palette, and then this was a gouache palette to supplement this. And then I have a third palette where it's watercolor and gouache. But I said in one of those videos that this gouache palette wasn't like a full enough palette to make a painting because there's kind of not a real good dark. I did put a couple darks right here, but anyways, I was doing some paintings with just that. I did this one, and excellent. accidentally did this one upside down. And this one, I think I pulled in my watercolor for this stuff back here. I can't really remember. But it ended up, the palette was really good. I think maybe I have one more in here. This is just a end of the day self-portrait. Again, I've been using the sketchbook trying to finish it up as like end of the day. This one, I did a drawing that I didn't really like with a blue pen. And then I pulled out two books. One which was a book on like just like foliage and berries and stuff, and was doing some of that. And then did some birds. I did all of this just with my Neocolor ones, which are these. This is my palette. I have most of the ones that they sell. In the ones, there's not as big of a palette as the water soluble, but I really loved how this turned out, and I loved how working over a sketch that I didn't like worked out. Just a quick painting. I think here I was maybe color swatching. Looks like maybe my watercolor palette, and then I did a painting with it. I love how soft her eyes are. And this would have just been a really quick one. Okay, and then this looks like I did with probably acrylic, maybe acrylic gouache, and I said that I just did it with my finger, so I painted the whole thing just with my finger. Can't remember what this was, but just a quick drawing of a boat. I may have been painting with my friend Emily Powell. Some 1-minute poses. Some more 1-minute poses. Definitely color swatching going on here. I didn't write what I was doing overall, but I mean, a page even like that is just so fun. Ooh, man, that right there, that is nice. Blue, compose, I have no idea what compose means, and raw umber. I'm guessing these are my watercolors. That combo right there is really French Ultra and raw sienna. Yeah, I mean, look at the textures of that right there. And it's because I really work the page, and so even on paper like this that can ruffle, like ruffling can create some nice texture. I need to come back and look at this page. This is making me want to go paint. Okay, more color swatching. Acrylic, just white, yellow, a pinky red, ultramarine. So basically I'm doing color swatching there, color mixes. More color swatching, but I did not say what I was doing. I usually do have like a purpose, but sometimes I write it down and sometimes I don't. Okay, this one goes all the way back to 2003, or not 2003, 2023. This was from a coffee shop. I was out with a friend, and we were at this coffee shop that there was literally like nobody there, and there were paintings on the wall with people in them. So then I started taking those people and putting them. There was a cowboy in one of the pictures on the wall, so I put him in the coffee shop. And then I think we did eventually have some people come, but that was kind of funny. But I like this. More color swatching, not sure what with. Simple cat. Ooh, wow, that's bad. Sometimes I can tell these are end of the day and just needing to like put paint down. I'm loving the texture going on here though. Wow, look at that. That's really nice. That's some good brush work, if I do say so myself, or that's how you get that kind of thing. Okay, just some quick sketches. Quick sketches. Not sure what this is from, but those are obviously swans. Okay, more color swatching, but this time I did say what they were. They are Wallace Seymour tempera paints that Jean Oliver sent me, and just beautiful texture in these. Ooh, even when you touch that, that's got nice texture. I need to pull these back out. They're nice. All right, this looks like it was probably a Sarah Dyer Patreon session. I feel like that's fun. I'm pretty sure I did not like that when I did it, but I love it now. I could tell I had a limited palette also. Another Sarah Dyer. It was probably the same one, Patreon session. Yep, Patreon session. Flowers in the garden. This makes me think I was someplace, but I can't remember where. Oh, yes. Okay, we're going to get to some sketches from, what is that garden that's here? Come on, brain. I cannot remember. Maybe I wrote it down. Anyways, it's a garden, big garden here in Nashville that you can go to, but you can't take paint. So all this is dry material. This is in like the Japanese section there. Maybe I'll have written down what it is because this is from the same garden. I don't know why my brain's not working, but it's not. Okay, this is from a park that's close to me. I can't remember if this sketch was actually done in the class, taking notes in the landscape. Tons of material that's used, and I did a bunch of paintings from the sketches that I did from that online class. Did I say that clearly? I'm trying to think to myself, but basically I have an online class called Taking Notes in the Landscape, and there's this park that I go to in that class, and there's this one old house and some other interesting buildings, but basically I move around that house and basically make like a little village. And then this is from another park that is close to me that I've gone to plenty of times, and been there with one of my nieces to paint. I'm not real sure what this is, but I can tell I was trying to do something abstract and that it didn't really work. I mean, it's kind of nice to look at because there's some nice colors and textures, but yeah. Okay, oh, and we're into 2022. When did that happen? When did that switch over? So basically I wanted to do it in this way so you could kind of see, oh, we've been in 2022 for a while. Wow. Yeah, from here. Okay, interesting. So I worked in this one obviously a lot in 2022. Okay, this was on a camping trip. I remember this being kind of an uninteresting lake park area, but when I've looked back at these paintings that I did there, I did really like them. Some soft pastels. Just a face, because the way that's sticking, I'm guessing it was with acrylic. Some figures back in 2022. So if you've been following me for a while, and I've been posting recently on Instagram, tons of figures. I've taken like 3 weeks maybe, it'll probably end up being 4 weeks of just figures. And you can really see kind of a progression in that, and how I've always chosen to go for loose. Like I love this, like how that one leg is kind of filled in and this one isn't, but you can see the background. Love that. Okay, this was done with oil pastels. Beautiful texture. I think I did this looking at another painting, and I think that painting has sold, but this is nice. A lot of nice pattern. Really makes your eye move around. I do like this. Okay, another figure that's quite wonky. I bet you I had something back here that didn't work well, and then, or maybe I was doing color swatches and then did this lady on top maybe. Okay, here's a weird turkey. Ocellated turkey, and then I put some of the info about it. Oh, I remember this page of birds. I really like this page actually. I love these birds. I think I did this whole thing with my left hand, if I remember correctly. I love the way I rendered this, like with the background and stuff. More birds. Yeah, these couple pages right here are nice. Yeah, real nice. Good job there, Sandy. I like this. Maybe I'll do this today, is do like, I like how there's like one bird on each page like that. That's nice. Okay, this is the same park as, or lake area as this. Was it done on the same day? Probably not. I didn't put a date. I can tell here I was just trying to capture it by just line, where here I've kind of filled it in more. Yeah, I remember it was a really nice day. Grady fished around there. I remember these canoers out there. I like this. And all the birds. Okay, this is another lake area that I've gone to plenty of times with my niece. In fact, in that same online class, Taking Notes in the Landscape, I paint here. In fact, I don't think I did this sketch from it, but I painted there in that class. This is, I don't know what this is either. I can tell I used soft pastel, but I think, well, and it looks like acrylic. I think this is kind of an abstract of our property, because I think there's the mountain, and I can recognize some of kind of the trees and the way the tree line is. This is one of the lake up at our campground where we go camping a lot, but I can tell I started it but did not finish it. And it's got soft pastel, so it's got my hands all dirty. No idea what that is. Definitely have soft pastel. More lake paintings, trying to be very abstract. I absolutely love this page of owls. This took me quite a while, I think, to do, but I absolutely love kind of like the big and the small. It's very illustrative. Illustrative, is that how you say that? And what's nice is when you fill a page up like this, like there could be some weird, scary owls like that, but you don't notice them as much because they're mixed in with others that are actually really good. So that's kind of a way to tackle something sometimes. Put a whole bunch of stuff on the page and don't get too worried about that one or two may not be that great, because then when you see it as a whole. I've always loved doing things with words in them. Always loved that. Oh my gosh, that little guy right there, he is cute. Some of these little ones are so cute. A tree. No idea what this is. It looks like I've used soft pastels and wetted them. And I think this is kind of an abstract thing that I made up. And it's with soft pastels and all kinds of stuff. But I really actually like this. Back then I wasn't really, I'm not great even now at value and composition, but I'm getting way better. It makes me want to take this and make this a better painting, knowing composition. Because I think I could make this better. Maybe I'll do that for the end of the day paint, because I forgot about that page. Oh, I forgot about this too. I came across this recently and I love this. I would paint from this also. I may do one of this today too. This is from a local park. What park is this? It's where I don't know. My brain is dead today. It doesn't really even matter, but anyways, it's a local park I go to all the time. Oh, I know. It's called the Parthenon. It's where the Parthenon is here in Nashville. Whatever that park is called. Centennial. There we go. The brain's kicking in. Centennial Park. Okay, I remember this. I was just trying to be abstract. This I used that liquid. I thought I had it right here, but I don't. Like liquid. It's not liquid. It's basically like a can of pencil. I can't remember what it's called, but basically there's that. I do like that page. More abstract landscape. I like this goose too. He's cute. More swatching. I can tell that's soft pastels. Soft pastels. I like how, good job with I can tell I wrote that with my left hand also, but just kind of looks like a nice little page, doesn't it? Okay, I feel like I remember doing this maybe with my hand. I only used my hand to do the paint, the acrylic paint on this. And I think the same thing here also. I remember I stuck some wax paper in here and this paint wasn't dry, so it stuck to it and I had to pull it off, but it kind of left some nice texture. So all the way back here, I was still aiming for loose landscapes. And my composition and value work has really paid off because now I'm able to do it in a much better way. Okay, this was Mother's Day. We were doing a Mother's Day celebration. The family was there. And at some point, I pulled out my soft pastels that I took and did a sketch while we were all just sitting at the table and hanging out and talking. It's interesting. That was years ago, but I can still remember conversations and stuff because there's something about when you're sketching, especially from life and others are around, you remember, or at least I do, conversations and smells and just the memory of it way better than if I had just been there. This is better than a photograph for me because all my senses are heightened. I don't remember what this is. I think maybe I had pulled up a whole bunch of kind of folk arty things maybe and was making some stuff I can't really remember. Okay, this was another Sarah Dyer Christmas drawing thing. This is so fun. That cat. That girl's cute too. Slightly scary doll, that's funny. I have no idea what this is, just a drawing. I can tell it's color pencils. I bet what I was trying to do was see if I could make a whole thing with just color pencils. Yeah, because I did the same thing here. This whole thing was done with color pencils. And I think I took a couple different paintings that I had found, probably from a book, and put this together. Oh, it says vases. That's right. This may have been Sarah Dyer's, yes, drawing thing. This is what it is. And I took several things from different vases. She had pictures of different vases, and I made this scene. A lot of times people were just drawing like what was on the vase, and I made a whole thing from it. And same thing here. I love this composition of this. Absolutely love it. Wow, I don't know if y'all are getting fired up to go paint, but I've really inspired myself by flipping through my own sketchbooks. That's what happens all the time. If I feel stuck, I pull out a sketchbook and start flipping through it, and I'll find something that, oh, I can paint that and make it better. Or I just want to take this drawing that was done in color pencil and then paint it and on like a different size, and that changes everything. So my own work, I'm a lot like Mary Fedden. She was a lot like that, just was so inspired by her own sketchbooks and kept a lot of sketchbooks and would be able to pull those off the shelf. And I remember her saying one time that she uses like sketchbooks from years and years and years ago, and I find I do the same thing. This is that same Patreon session. Testing art graph. That's what this was right here, art graph. Or was that moose? Remember that? Or not moose, goose, moose. This was done with art graph. Yeah. So I was just playing around here with the art graph blocks. Oh yeah, I bought a bunch of different colored ones. I don't really use those anymore. These are soft pastels that I was testing out. That's a beautiful page, even just with color swatching. And then these are soft pastels also, or this is, and some simple landscape. And that's it. The very first page I'll leave with like my information and stuff in case somebody finds the sketchbook. And then what I do with the edge of the sketchbook is after I'm done with it and after I film it for y'all, I will put the date of when I started the sketchbook and when I finished it. That way I've got that like on my shelf, and it also lets me know I have shown it to y'all. I hope that was inspiring. I'm gonna go paint now. I need to go work and like edit this video, but I think I'm gonna go paint for a little bit and then do it. So I hope that inspired you too. I hope you'll go pull a sketchbook off the shelf, go paint from it, and I will see you back here in 2 weeks.